Hello and welcome to Back in the Dave. I'm your host, David Knight, and we are in November 2023. Can you believe it? It's like, what? Like January was just like 11 months ago. It sounds like, like in verbally, it sounds like a long time ago, but it really wasn't. It just kind of flew by. But we say that every damn year. Oh, here comes the hot weather. But it's been the hot weather for the longest time. Oh, here comes the cold weather. Cold weather for the longest time. Oh, I can't believe the end of the year was already here. The end of the year always comes at the end of the year. Oh, it's Monday, back to work. Yeah, it's Monday, it's been happening. Hey, Friday, Us humans and our habits, right? And our beliefs and our perceptions is kind of unbelievable. But yes, we're here. We're officially approaching and moving into the holiday season of 2023. And like most people on the planet, I'm happy. I mean, I like this time of year. It's very festive. We get around people and everything. Family, friends, good food, all that kind of fun stuff. And like most folks, I enjoy it too. Always have, and I guess always will. But for those of you who have been following my podcasts and or my music since I've landed here in the Facebook, social media, YouTube world, and I guess now even TikTok as I'm moving to TikTok now. Every time of the year, every time we come into this year, I always try to go a little deeper, right? I want to go a little bit deeper. The music is great. I love the music. We got plenty of music coming out next year. I know it's been a long time coming, but I've been dealing with all this PTSD and all the stuff that's been going on. And it's like, wow, I can't believe that the last song I released was in May of 2021, right? But that's okay. That's coming to an end at the top of next year. So everybody just hang tight, hold on. Just finished the first music video for the first release, which is going to be Take It Higher. So that's really good. So there's a bunch of stuff coming up. But this is not about music. Like I've always said, when I was a child, my mother and my father always said to me, David, there's more to life than music. And in my mind, I'd be like, no, there isn't. It's just music and that's it. Come to find out, years and decades later, there's more to life than music. The older you get, the more you get into life. The more experience that you get under your belt, hopefully, the more you see life, the more your brain opens up, the more your eyes open up, the more your heart opens up or not, right? And I find that we're in a very unique place right now because the world has always been in turmoil, at least for the past 10,000 years, as my study and my understanding and my reading makes me understand that mankind began hurting and killing each other about 10,000 years ago, from my understanding. And so many of us believe that that's how we are born. That's how we are. That's how we were. We've always been that way. And that's not true because humanity, mankind has been here way millennia before 10,000 years ago. So this whole thing of violence and fighting and corruption and greed, all this stuff in the big picture of life is really relatively new, right? And so with that, and with all the things that are happening in the world now, got me thinking. And so when I begin thinking about this stuff a little bit deeper, I either do one or two things. I either say, hey, it kind of is what it is. Or if it moves me hard enough, I do an episode on it. And this is that episode, especially because we're towards the end of the year when all y'all know I start getting kind of deep on stuff now because I know this is the time of year we start missing our loved ones. We start feeling that. We start feeling lonely. All types of emotions begin coming up. All types of thoughts begin coming up. And so I like going deeper this time of year because I feel like I got you. I got you right there. And hopefully you're kind of listening because Thanksgiving's coming up and what are we thankful for? And Christmas is coming up and what are we grateful for? And all that kind of stuff. But I have a topic that's been on my mind I think for about a week or two now, maybe longer than that, probably about a month now. And so that's why I decided to just stop the music, stop all the stuff that I was going to do for this episode, and do this. And I might make some enemies with this because I know people are really attached to things in this world. We're very attached. We don't know how to just let go. So today I'm going to challenge everybody to let go of something. And if you can't let go of it, then I'm going to say, see if you can relax it a little bit. I think it's really important that we relax this. And I'm just laughing and smiling because I know a lot of people, man, they can't do this, man. They can't do this, right? Um, and maybe it's easier for me. I believe I've done this. Maybe it's easier for me because I was never that attached like most people are. I was never really that attached, okay? So let me break this down and begin here, okay? When I think of myself, I first think of myself as a spiritual being, a spiritual life, an energy force, okay, having a physical experience. And many may argue that, but now, I mean, I have gone back with my research and my studies and things that I'm into in terms of health, wellness, spirituality, out of body, astral travel, energy and stuff. But now science has also proven that that's what we are. When you drill down into a super duper microscope and you drill down real low, all that's there is nothing but energy. That's it. So we are literally energy beings in a physical body. Everything around us is alive. Everything around us is nothing but energy. Yeah, even the metal on your car, it's energy. It's a lower vibration of energy, but nonetheless, it's energy. Okay? But we're not going to get stuck there. All right? So when I first think of myself, when I first look in the mirror and see myself, that's how I see myself. That's how I feel and think of myself. I am a spiritual being having a physical experience on this physical, energetic planet called Earth. All right? And I can drill down a lot deeper on that, but we're not going to go there right now. After I think of myself that way, the next level up, how I think of myself is I'm physical. All right? That just my skin, my intestinal tract, all of my organs, my heart, my brain, my bones, blood, all of that stuff is vibrating. There's kind of a duality here. It's vibrating on a lower level because it's physical matter, but also those organs on the inside of us are also vibrating on very higher levels as well, and we can tweak those things as we go along. It's very much like music. Music is very vibrational, it's very energetic, it's very electrical. All right? So, when I think of myself from the next level up from being a physical being, the next level from that is I'm a male. All right? I identify as a male. I always have. Even though I am one of those males that really has, I guess, several more gallons of estrogen in me. So I am also very connected to the female side of me. And I know most men out there probably cringe hearing another dude say that, but you don't want to get into a fight with me because I can still handle myself. It has nothing to do with it. It just means that I'm that again, that duality. It just means that I am in touch with and I'm conscious of both of those sides of me. Dave D, Davey D, Dave the Dope Fiend, right? I'm in touch with my male side and I'm in touch with the female side. So I have empathy. I have, I mean, I have feelings. I'm not ashamed to cry. I'm not caught up in my male ego so much where I can't relate to women and female conversations. Quite frankly, because of that, I can relate to more female conversations than what I can male conversations. I don't get off talking about sports all the time. I don't get off talking about girls all the time and all that kind of, it doesn't interest me. There's more to life than that. Like there's more to life than music. Okay? So identifying myself as a spiritual being having a physical experience. I identify myself as a physical being as well, made out of matter, flesh, and bones. And I identify myself as a male. Okay? I am what us humans have labeled a male for whatever. Those folks who are in a male body and identify with female, that's a beautiful thing. For those who are in a female body and identify with being male, that's a beautiful thing. I think there's room for everything on this planet, and everything is always shifting, changing, and moving around. Okay, so for those of you who cringe and all of that, then you can just hit the stop button to stop watching this. But that's how I feel, and I've always felt that way as far back as I can remember because so many reasons. The next level up as to how I identify myself is African slash African American. Okay. I am a descendant of Africa. Okay. Recently found out from Nigeria, but from other countries in Africa as well. Um, so I identify myself as African slash African American, an African born here in this land called America. Okay. Like many of us, my great great grandparents were brought over here on slave ships and blah, blah, blah. That'll be another episode because y'all know I can run my mouth about that topic indefinitely. Okay. So those are the ways in which I identify myself. Okay. Spiritual being, having a physical experience, a physical being, having that physical experience, a male being, male person, uh, having a male physical experience, and then African American. I'm an African American man, guy, dude, homie, whatever you want to call me. It don't matter. Just call me in time for dinner, right? Okay. So those are the ways in which I identify myself. And then people, because of my mom and dad, and I guess my great uncle, call me David Knight. All right. Which many of you know, that's a slave name. Okay. So I'm David Knight. It's a European name, and I guess old Hebrew name from the Old Testament, from David and Goliath, all that kind of stuff. You put that together, you got David Knight. There's a bunch of us. Okay. So that's who the different levels of who I am, right? Starting from the core of me on an energy spiritual side to the higher levels of me, okay, on a physical matter side, and then on the cultural side, African slash African American, okay, and then all of those different things that make who I am, make me up, that makes me who I am. But where do I really identify, or how do I really identify with all those things? Well, on my day to day, I don't. I mean, I just don't. I find that my day to day, I just live and enjoy my day. I don't think about being a spiritual being. I don't think about my physical body. I don't think about the fact that I'm a guy and I have guy organs. And I don't think about the fact that I'm African American. I don't, unless something comes up by somebody else. All right. I don't think about those things, so I don't walk and move, and I don't peruse the planet. You know, um, those things don't precede me. I guess the better way to put it. I'm a little tongue-tied for my words tonight because this topic is kind of very passionate to me, and I know I'm kind of treading on water some of this stuff with folks out there because we just can't let go, man. But it's been my observation. It has been my strong observation, not just recently. I think recently it's just become to a heightened awareness for me, but it has been my observation for decades. And I have said things about this to certain people in my life throughout my life, be it my first wife, Tracy, or be it my band members, whether it's Wendy or Jimmy or them, or be it my children, one of my children, or my present day wife. What I've observed is that so many people identify so tight and so close with their culture, no matter what it may be, whether they're Japanese, something's in my eye, there we go, whether they're Japanese, whether they are Dominican, whether they are African, Puerto Rican, American, European, Italian, everybody seems to be really caught up in their culture. And don't misunderstand me. Like let me be clear. All right, as the politicians have made that word very trendy. Let me be clear. Let's make no mistake about it. I love culture. I love plenty of cultures. Okay, I've celebrated many cultures over the decades. Eyelashes in the eye, man, drive you nuts, right? Okay. For those of you who listen to this, you don't know that my eyelashes are falling into my eyes, driving me nuts, but okay. Um, I'm not gonna edit that out either. I'm gonna leave it right in there. I think culture is wonderful. I think dance that makes up culture. Some of the ingredients that make up culture is dance, food, language, clothing, hairstyle. I'm going to say belief systems. I'm going to say perceptions as well, ways of being. I have to be this way because my culture tells me I have to be this way. And right now, I'm just talking about culture based on, I guess, the countries that we come from, right? So whether you come from Italy, whether you come from Haiti, whether you come from London, whatever country slash continent you're on, I'm talking about that. Of course, there are other cultures we can talk about. There are religious cultures. Obviously, there are cultures of hate, white supremacy, neo-Nazi. There's a bunch of them out there. But a culture, as we all know, so I'm not saying anything here. I'm not saying anything here that nobody already knows. My goal here is just to bring awareness, bring it up to the front, okay? And whoever it reaches, hopefully a bell bing will go up in your head or something like that, and you'll say, oh, wow, okay, yeah, cool peas, right? But culture is a human construct. Culture is not something like a tree that came from the energy of nature, or if I say the grid, for those of you who understand quantum physics and the quantum grid and stuff like that, the quantum field. Okay, it didn't come from that energy quantum field that made all this stuff in the world, including us. Don't believe those quantum field things. Do that research. You're gonna get your mind blown. For those who might not believe, those who do believe, y'all get it, right? So the quantum field that constructed all of this stuff, that energy field, didn't really construct culture. Indirectly, I guess it probably did because everything comes from that, right? But at the end of the day, culture, especially culture from our countries, comes from a human construct. It's something that as we were congregating together in our communities, in our countries, in our towns, on our continents, we said, hey, we're all here together. Let's do all these things. I made this basket, you make a basket. Let's put this in this basket. Okay, we got that basket. I made this food. These are the spices in our community right here. We got turmeric, we got cardamom, we got pepper, we got salt, we got all this stuff. We got some chickpeas going on over here, some legumes over here. Let's mix this together. And oh, that tastes really good. Well, let's do this one again. Let's mix this. We got some food going on. That night after we have the food, we light that fire. The fire comes on. We start, for those cultures who are into the drumming and stuff, and we start beating those drums, start dancing. Oh, hey, let's dance our asses off. Here we go. Okay? That all began to shape and mold our cultures and who we became and what we identify with over the decades, especially over the centuries, especially, I'm going to say more so over the past 5,000 years. Because over the last 5,000 years, you had some real heavy-duty culture that came into being and really began to shape and mold their cultures a lot more. I believe India would be one. I believe Japan and China would be others as well. Okay? So when you really think about this stuff, those are just some, like I said, those are some of the ingredients that bring up culture. But what my observation has been and has now heightened is culture, while its initial creation was all good, it helped bring community. It helped bond. And again, if you know anything about energy and us being energy people, electric people, we have cells like a cell phone. The cell gets the energy from the sun. It energizes us. We're cellular. It's like a cell phone has to be plugged in. It gets same bat time, same bat channel. Cell, cell. Cell in the cell phone, 150 trillion cells in the body. Okay? So as we begin to enjoy our cultures and have fun with our cultures and make the connections, those energy, electric connections with our cultures, with our different cultures, it grew. It grew, it grew, it bloomed, it blossomed. And it was a beautiful thing. But I think somewhere along the way, and it's not recent, I think somewhere along the way, probably over the last 200 years, or at least the last 150 years, we have allowed our cultures to divide us and separate us. Because I see, well, we've done that, but let me just backpedal for a few minutes. We often identify with our cultures so much that we are now living day to day our cultures, meaning we're identifying closely with our cultures. It's like if you're Italian from Brooklyn, you got to be a Brooklyn Italian. You got to talk that Brooklyn Italian talk. You got to walk that Brooklyn Italian walk. You got to eat that Brooklyn Italian food. You got to do that, you know. And if you're from Latin America, you got to do that Latin America thing, beans and rice, and all that cilantro in there, and your sofrito and all that kind of stuff. You got to eat that, because really, if you don't eat that on a daily basis and put a little bit of something, maybe a little bit of something else different in there, then you're not from Latin America. You're not from the Dominican Republic. You're not from Puerto Rico. You're not from those cultures if you're not eating your cultural foods or wearing your cultural clothes or being your certain cultural way. And the same goes for African Americans. The same goes for us as well. Same goes for Jamaican folks, West Indian folks. My mom's side of the family is from Barbados, so I understand the West Indian side of it very well too. So we're all so clingy, so clung to our cultures that we're just living that. And so for those folks that come here from other countries, the immigrants, and now they're creating their own culture too, their immigrant culture as well. Again, I might make some enemies on this, but hey, I'm just putting it out there how I feel it, how I think about it. That's becoming a culture of its own, a subset of a bigger culture, you know. But the immigrants, you know, they come here, and when they come here, they move into towns that are their culture. So you got little Russia, little India, little Italy, little Chinatown. I mean, like, wow. But yet, speaking for this country at the moment, which I never like to do, but speaking for this country at the moment, this country is a so-called melting pot. Okay, but it's a divided, can't be a melting pot, I was going to say. It's so divided on so many levels, but I'm just going to talk about culturally right now, you know, from nationality, from your country, that are we really melting? Are we really coming together? With all the things that we have created that divides us, right? All the things that we've created that divides us, how much money we make, how educated we are or are not. Let me backpedal. How much money we make or don't make, how educated we are or are not. Okay? Whether, you know, are you in the left wing, right wing, Republican, Democrat? I hate people. I don't hate people. I mean, damn. There's so many levels of division. It's mind-boggling. It like spins your freaking mind out. There's so many levels of division, but yet everybody wants to come together under democracy. Because that's the one thing that will unite us all, is this other social man-made construct called democracy. That's going to bring us all together. That's going to bring together the Italians, the African Americans, the Africans, the Russians, Ukrainian folks, the Japanese, the Jewish folks, the Dominican folks, the Puerto Rican folks. It's going to bring the Hawaiian folks. It's going to bring everybody together under the one big umbrella of democracy. It ain't going to do no such damn thing at all. If we can't even come together and get out of our little Chinatowns and our little Russian areas and our little African-American Harlem areas and stuff like that, if we can't get out of those areas and look around and peruse and see what's going on after work and on the weekends, then democracy, in my mind, doesn't stand a chance. Because we're not coming together on what I'm going to call a second level basis, a second level thing that should bring us together. And that second level thing that technically should bring us together are the cultures. Looking at the different cultures, enjoying the different cultures, celebrating the different cultures. But what do we have to do? We're so damn divided. And understand, this is not just in this country, this is around the world. We're so damn divided. We're so divided that what we have to do is get together and have African American Day, Latin American Day. Let's get together and have African American food. Let's get together, listen to Latin music on Latin Day. Let's get together and have Jewish Day. Let's get together and have Russian Day from Russia. Let's get together and have all these different days. We're going to have Britain Day, European Day. I mean, come on. It's like enough is enough. Why do we have to come together to open up to other cultures and other people? Like, why? Like, that, to me, that's absurd, ludicrous, and insane to me. And when you move all those labels away, it's also ignorant. And when you remove that, it's just stupid. And that's just my mind. That's how I feel about these things, right? And I'm not going to gloss over. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just going to put it out there because it needs to be put out there. We need to look at it. We need to look at that and say, okay, what do we do? Well, we should get together just to enjoy each other's cultures, just like as a lifestyle. Bing, started out one day. That should be a lifestyle. Just coming together to enjoy each other's cultures should be a way of life. To use another trendy phrase, it's our birthright. It is our birthright to enjoy each other's cultures. But we can't, because we've allowed our differences in culture to divide us. We're letting the cultures divide us. Oh, can't talk to him because he's this. Oh, can't talk to her because she's that. Oh, those people, you see how they look, you see how they feel, you see how they eat their food with their fingers, you see what they do with this, you see how these are so proper. Lord, like, come on. We can't even enjoy our cultures, our man-made cultures. Right about here is where I take a moment to pause from this episode to encourage you to check out my website, davidknightcompose.com. There, you can see more of my history, listen to my music, read articles I've written, check out my hobbies, watch my videos and live streams, and after all of that, you're going to want to take a second and sign up for my email list because I genuinely want to share everything about me with you. All right? That's davidknightcompose.com. Okay, let's get back to the show now. Peace. So I'm going to put something else. There's one more level. And this is the level that I subscribe to since as far back as the 70s. I'll put it that way. As far back as the 70s, this is what I always subscribe to. because this is how I felt as a child, that I couldn't speak on it because every time I did, I got kind of shut down about it, especially talking to my grandmother, my dad's mom. Well, Dave, that's just not the way things are done here in the world. When you get older, you're going to find out. Okay. All right, Nana. Okay. So there's another level. And so I don't want to just bring up a problem. Well, I didn't. It's been a global problem for centuries now, right? So I don't want to make you aware of a problem and not give some kind of solution to this, right? Some type of idea. So what's my solution? If everybody is beefing, all right? If everybody's beefing about culture, if everybody's too squeamish about someone else's culture, let's drop it down. Let's drop it down. Let's drop it down to, how about we all identify and bond and connect to being human? How about that? Because that comes from the quantum field. That comes from nature. That is natural. That is something that we all can identify with. It doesn't matter if you 7 foot tall, 2 feet tall, dark as dark can get, light as light can get, and any shade in between, right? So whether you identify as black, which to me is a joke, brown, which to me is a joke, white, the joke, red, yellow, whatever you identify with in terms of those ridiculous freaking colors, fine. I'm sure you can identify as being a human being, right? Like, do you have 10 fingers? Do you have 10 toes? You got a mouth, you got some eyes, some ears, you got a head, you got a brain. No matter how you're using that brain, but you got a brain, you got an arm, you got some legs, you got a heart, be it closed or open. You got some kidneys up in there, you got a liver, a lymphatic system kind of cleaning you out. You got that sphincter muscle all up in there as well, going well for you. Being a human being. How about that? Can we try that? Can we try being a human being? Because if we become human beings first, before culture, then what does that do? That does a couple of things. One, it opens the door to gratitude. I'm grateful for being a human being. I'm grateful for being alive. I'm grateful for being on this planet, which is the most marvelous planet that us human beings are destroying. So I'm grateful for being on the planet. I'm grateful for being here. You know, I'm grateful is one level. And then the second level is empathy. Because being human means being on some level, or having on some level of empathy. Getting my words all tongue tied here because I got so much going on in my brain. I'm thinking about, I can't get everything out of my brain. I can't get everything out of my mouth. Can't get it out of my mouth as fast as my brain is thinking it because I'm so charged by this topic. And I'm so sick of everybody identifying with their cultures. And like I said, I love the cultures. My wife is half Puerto Rican, half Dominican. Okay? She is into her salsa. She's into her 70s salsa. She is into, her sofrito and all of that good food from those two cultures. And she celebrates to the end of the world. And we get up in here and make stuff, and it's all good. If she starts dancing and stuff and does her thing and plays all of her music, man, whether it's Tito Puente and Bobby Rodriguez or Mango Santa Maria, whoever it may be, and she's into it. But as much as she's into it, she's human first. And that was one of the things that I liked about my wife when I met her. She identified as being human. She identified as being a human being who just happened to be half Puerto Rican, half Dominican. And then I began to understand the little battle between Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. I was like, oh my God, so you're like the best of both worlds. You should be having such an internal fight because she's half. It's insane. And then they went, pick a side. I'm not picking a freaking side. Are you out of your mind? So think about it. What's more valuable in life? Being Puerto Rican, being Dominican, being African, being Jewish, being African American, being Japanese, being Russian. You know, what's more important? Being those things or being a human being, which is what you truly are. If you really want to break it down and speak truth, that's what you truly are. You are truly a human being. So think about it. I think if we were all moving in the direction of being a human being, I seriously believe that many of the issues we have on a global scale will begin to minimize and minimize and minimize. I truly believe that. I believe that is a fact. Okay? So what I'm going to ask of anyone who listens to this video to the very end, what I'm going to ask is that maybe practice lowering your culture. I'm not saying getting rid of it. I haven't gotten rid of my culture, not at all. I love being African American. Okay? I mean, I love it. I wouldn't want to be anything other than African American. I wouldn't want to be anything other than a descendant of Africa. That's how I was placed on the planet. That's how my ancestors were placed on the planet. And I give that the utmost love and the utmost respect for as long as I live. So don't get me wrong. I enjoy being of African descent. I enjoy being African American. There's so much to be proud of being from African descent and being part of that diaspora. There's so much to be proud of being African American. Or when I look at all that Africans have created and all that Africans have contributed to the world, despite what the history books say. You don't believe me? Find the real books. I love what being African American is all about, and the struggle and the stamina and the brain power and the wit to go through those years of slavery and oppression and the struggles that we still deal with today. So let's not get it twisted. I love who I am when it comes to the culture side of it. I love who I am on every deep level that it can be. But at the end of the day, I love being human more than anything else. I find that when I am living my culture too much, if and when that happens these days, I find I'm very limited. I find that I'm very limited. It reminds me of playing the bass. When I first got my first professional bass guitar in 1977, I was like, oh, this is it. I'm going to play this forever. And I sat down on the edge of my bed, as y'all know, and began playing, learning my scales and learning my arpeggios and all the different things, the different keys that go behind it. F sharp, B flat, F sharp major 7, all that stuff to learn how to play that instrument. But somewhere around 1982, 1983, I began to feel limited on my bass. Even though almost 50 years later, I still play my bass a lot. But I feel very limited on my guitar. I feel very limited on that instrument. Why? Because it only has 4 strings and I forgot how many notes up and down the fretboard. I think 24 notes. That tells you, you know. I don't remember how many notes it has up and down the fretboard any longer. We can sit here and count them, but I won't. I began to feel very limited on the bass. I began to feel very open and very free and unlimited as a songwriter. Because if my brain could think it, I can write it in a song. I love production because if my brain can think it, I can produce it on that song. And the equipment in the recording studio is so limitless that anything I think of in my brain, I can create in music. But I can't do that on my bass. The bass, like all instruments, most instruments, has a very specific function. And as much as I adore the instrument, I feel limited with it. And that's how I feel about my culture. That's how I feel about being African American. It's limiting because it just keeps me with, and now don't get me wrong, there's a lot within the African diaspora. There's a lot going on within Africa. There's a lot going on within African Americans. So there's a lot there. But I still feel limited when I tend to live within my culture. And I'm a person that doesn't like to feel limited. And quite frankly, I feel the same way. If I think of myself as being a male, a guy, a man, I feel limited there because I can only do male guy things. Because if I don't do that, then the alpha male and all the other males out there will think I'm some type of a quack or some type of a queer or some type of other freaking label, which to me, like I said, is ridiculous. So when I am being my culture, I feel limited. But when I'm being human, I feel unlimited. And of course, when I'm feeling myself on a spiritual level, my energy level, I really feel epic, unlimited. And I move more and more in that direction because I know my physical body is limiting. I know that my energy body is not limiting. But we're going to keep it right here in the physical matter for a minute. So reeling it back into me being a human being, I feel more unlimited. Why? Because when I feel myself and experience myself perusing the planet as a human being, I'm doing what I was meant to do. I'm being what I was meant to be. I'm being a human being. I'm perusing the planet. I'm using these arms and legs to climb mountains, to ride bikes, to walk, my eyes to see, my ears to listen, all these little limiting senses on the body, still allows me to open up and enjoy the physical world that I'm in. But most of all, when I feel and experience myself as a human being, most of all, I get to commune and enjoy all of the other human beings on the planet. But not only that, I get to enjoy all of the other life on the planet. I get to enjoy dogs, elephants, cats, the rats, the mice, birds, bugs, whatever, fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, legumes. I get to enjoy all of those things as a human being, but not only enjoy those things, speaking on the food level, not only those things in terms of my culture, but all of the other people, humans, and their culture. So I get to enjoy Japanese food, Chinese food, Latin food. I get to enjoy all of this stuff as a human being. So I don't feel limited as a human being. I don't feel limited on the planet, even though the planet and our bodies are very limiting in the bigger picture. I don't feel limited in that respect because I'm a human being and I'm doing what human beings are supposed to be doing. I feel that when we are living our cultures too much, we're human doings, not human beings. So we're doing our culture. If you want to go to other cultures, if you have a culture that's a religion, now you're being your nationality culture and your religious culture. And whatever other cultures you got stacked on top of you as well. Let some of them cultures go. Let some of them go. If I had my way, we would let them all go. If I had my way, there would only be two things. It would be one, being a human being first, and two, enjoying the culture that you were born into, and then enjoying that. But that's if I had my way, and of course, that too would be very limiting. But I believe if we can really get in touch with our being, our human being, if we can really understand that every human being on the planet is just that, a human being, I think all of these other walls that the different cultures have built up would begin to melt and fade away. The culture of hate, right, would begin to melt and fade away. Democrats, Republicans begin to melt and fade away. All those things would begin to fade away. Why? Because we would be seeing ourselves on a greater level in which we are. Because clearly being a Republican, being a Democrat, being a racist, being wealthy, and being highly educated, all those things, in my opinion, are extremely limiting. Though we really have ourselves believing that they're not. We really have ourselves believing that, oh, I got money, I'm the man. No, you're not. You just got money. Oh, I'm highly educated. I got my PhD and my ABC and my 1, 2, 3. I'm highly educated. I'm in that culture. So what? My grandmother would say she knew a lot of educated assholes, a lot of wealthy assholes too. Truth be told, a lot of human assholes as well. But when you think about it and you look at the bigger picture overall, if we just can all make a choice to practice being human, first become aware of being human. I bet so many people out there are so tightly bonded with their culture, whatever it may be, that they even forget that they're a human being. Because until they get sick or something, they forget they're a human being because they're so wrapped up and tied into their culture. So let's bring some awareness to being a human being. The next time you get a chance, look in the mirror. Look at your face, look at your eyes, look at your hands. When you get in the bed and when you get in the shower, look at your body. And don't just look at your body to clean it. Look at your body. Look at your body. Look deep into your body. Try to imagine what your body looks like on the inside. Imagine looking to see what your heart is like on the inside, what your intestinal tract is like on the inside. Imagine what's going on in your small colon with your microbiome and all the bugs in there. Imagine all the bugs that are on our skin and how those bugs connect to all the other bugs on the planet. Imagine what your cell is doing when you're out in the sunlight and what the cells are doing when the sun hits it. So look at your body from a whole different perspective. Look at your body and say, wow, this is really me. I'm a human being. Because if you can do that when you're in the shower, hopefully you're seeing you as how you were born in your so-called birthday suit. You're seeing the real you. You're seeing the only you. Who you really are. The human being that you really are. And whether you're female or male and you're looking at all your systems and all your body parts, look at them and say, wow, this is me. And don't hate parts of your body. Love your body. Because your body is amazing. Your body is simply amazing. And what we have done as a culture on a global scale, we have made the world so intolerable with toxins on every level that the body is having a hard time now surviving on the planet. once upon a time, the body had an easier time surviving on the planet. It was so connected to the oceans, to the moon, to the sun, to the food, to the soil. It was so connected to all the bugs, the wildlife. It was so connected. We were all such a part of that. But we have isolated ourselves so much from the world and from nature and from one and from each other. It's causing stress on the cellular level that's permeating up, and we're getting sick. And not only permeating up that way, but let's not even talk about all of the things that are coming into the body through the skin that's contributing to it. Let's not even talk about the things that we eat, that we smoke, and that we drink. That's even dumping out. We are smothering the body. We are smothering ourselves. We do not respect being a human being. We're not respecting being a human being. And it's part of my belief is because we don't see ourselves as human beings. We see ourselves as being our cultures. I'm Russian, I'm Japanese, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Haitian, I'm American, I'm from Thailand, so I'm Thai, I'm Hawaiian, I'm indigenous, I'm this, I'm that. We're so focused on all of that that the one thing that I feel will help save us, mankind, and the planet is if we redirect our focus and our awareness into us, into being a human being, into our bodies, into loving us, into loving our bodies. And it doesn't matter what kind of body you got, small, medium, large, or extra, extra large. It doesn't matter. Love your body. Love your body for what it is, not for what you want it to be. Okay? So that's my message for the beginning of the holiday season of 2023. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. I hope you heard what I said. My goal was to just bring awareness. And of course, what I had to say is going to reach on many deaf ears because they can only identify with their culture. Because another aspect of this, before I wrap this up, the other aspect of this is that how many people, if I was able to suck their cultures out of them, would they know who the hell they are? There you go. Would you know who you were? If I just walked by you and went ring and snatched your culture out of your body, out of your brain, out of your consciousness, out of your ego, quite frankly, that's really what it's coming from. If I could snatch your culture out of your ego, out of your brain, who would you be? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Who would you be? Like, that's a real important question to ask yourself. Do you know who you are without your culture? And if you're stumbling on answering that question, or if you don't really know, it's really time to get in the shower and look at yourself. Look at your whole body. Look at who you are. Look at your belief system. Look at your perceptions in the world. Are your belief systems based upon your culture? Are your perceptions in life based upon your culture? And if so, how is that limiting you in terms of shaking hands and being with other cultures? How limited is your life because of your culture? And I know what having a limited life is about because I've been dealing with PTSD. And you talk about something that just shrinks your life. Whoa, it shrinks your life. So I know what it's like to be living a very limited life. And it ain't cool. It's not cool. So I challenge you once again, ask yourself, If your culture was removed, who are you? Do you say, oh, my African American culture was removed, but I'm, you know, on the right wing? Well, now you've bonded to that one. Or I'm on the left wing and bonded to that one. Oh, my culture was removed. Who am I? What am I? Oh, I'm an analyst. I'm a musician. These are all the other subcultures that fall under our cultural cultures. It's a lot. It's stacked really, really high. And we've done this because the bottom line is that nobody wants to identify with who they are as a human being. And why? Because to make that connection, to make that deeper connection, is fearful. Why? Because there's a lot of pain in that. A lot of pain in being the human being. See, there's a lot of pain there. So if there's a lot of pain there, it's easier being a Republican or a Democrat. It's easier being Russian. It's easier being Hawaiian. It's easier being Japanese because I can front. Because there's too much pain, I can step behind my cultural culture. I can step behind that and not, well, I can step behind that and not have to deal with who I am as a human being. Because when you're dealing with yourself as a human being, your physical body and those things, you're now dealing with your emotions and your pain. And it's hardwired in us that those things we don't want to deal with. But when we deal with those things, life opens up. So while I know most folks out there aren't going to give a who shot Mary Lou in the cornhole and not drop their cultural cultures, fine. I'm going to just ask you if you can just lower it. Lower the cultures. Let's just lower the cultures maybe 10%. If we can lower the cultures down a little bit, initially the cultural cultures, if we can just lower those cultures down maybe 10% and raise up being a human being, that 10%, then maybe we got something. Maybe we got something for the whole world to talk about. We might even change the world a little bit. I know. As the song says, I may be just a foolish dreamer, but I don't care. It would be great if so many more of you can dream along with me. Dream along with me. Trip along with me. Just think about it. Just think about it. Can you do it? That should be a new social media challenge. Challenge everybody to drop your culture. Drop your culture down and bring up being a human being. I think the results on an individual level, on a country level, and on a global level will heighten exponentially, and energy on the planet will grow. Because if you're a human being, and if you're really thinking on a human being and being on a human being level, we're going to start doing things to save humanity for real and not just talk the talk and not walk the walk, because there's a lot of talk out there, but ain't nothing getting done. But not only save humanity, but also begin to save the other animals that we are terrorizing, to use another trendy word. We're terrorizing all the other freaking animals on the planet, and then also save the planet. So the choice is up to us. The choice is up to all of us, all some 8 billion of us. The choice is up to us. And for those of you who resonate with what I'm talking about, what I'm saying, I challenge you to go out there and begin to speak to others who don't resonate with this. but who respect you and your word and find a compassionate way, an empathetic way. Or is that a sympathetic way? I don't remember. But to say these things to them. Hey, think about just being a human. Let's just drop some of that stuff. Let's just be a human. Oh, so-and-so is this and that. He cut me off and this and all right, well, that's another human being. We don't know that person that cut you off in the car. You don't know what's going on in his world at that moment. Of course, maybe he's being an asshole. Maybe he's being a jerk. Could be. But maybe there's something going on in that car that we don't know about. We're so quick to judge. And I get it. Being judgmental is hardwired in us because we have to make judgment calls. It's a survival mechanism. I get it. But it's also one that we can work with as well. All right, so let me, that was a false ending last time. Let me do the real ending now. So I want to thank all you for listening to me. I hope what I said is resonating with all of you. If not all of you, hopefully most of you. Please share this episode around. I think and hope that this episode gets shared around so it will affect other folks, whether they want to believe in it or not. Doesn't matter. It does matter. Actually, it does matter, but hopefully they'll believe in it and they'll begin to take some action on their own as well. Okay? And I want to thank all of y'all as we approach Thanksgiving. I want to let you know how much I thank all of you and how grateful I am for all of you who follow me on Facebook and social media. Thank all of you who follow the podcast episode, who are on my email list, and who I go back and forth with. Those of you who text me, who have my phone number, you guys send me out text, all that kind of fun stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the kind words. As I've been going through this healing process, and I'm healing really good. Still got some challenges happening with the body here, but I'm working them out in some really cool ways, and I'm just keeping faith that everything's going to work out for me the way I see it in my mind. And that's what I'm going to do. And so at the end of the day, it's all good, right? So enjoy your holiday season. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Get with family and friends of your culture and with other cultural cultures, and just enjoy being within those cultures as a human being. Just enjoy that. Enjoy the food. Please don't overeat because the body can't handle it. The lymph nodes can't clean it out. The liver can't do it. The kidneys, all that stuff, man, it can't handle the overload that we're doing on the foods. Can't handle it. So chill, back up off it. We are here. We are eating to live. We're not living to eat. So enjoy Thanksgiving. When Christmas rolls around, I'll be here again, but enjoy Christmas. Enjoy the food, the celebration, enjoy the whole thing. All right? So let me get out of here because I got more stuff to do today, and I'm going to jump in that stuff and get ready for the first of the year because we're going to be putting out, oh boy, new music, new videos. One of the songs already done, videos already done. I'm moving into the next one now. So we got at least 4 songs coming out throughout next year. So hang tight. And I'm excited about that because it's been 2 years now, almost 2.5 years since I released Fantasy World. Like, wow. But it's been good. Anyway, let me get up out of here. Y'all be good. As my grandmother would say, keep on living. Night out. If you enjoyed this episode, take a moment and leave a 5-star comment. I'd really appreciate it, and it seriously helps others find the show. Thank you for listening. I know you have a ton of other things on your plate that you could be doing and maybe you should be doing, but you took a moment to hang out with me, and I'm so grateful. So until next time, as my grandmother would say, keep on living. Night out.